Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be working on Little Red again, and we're going to be fixing the exhaust rattle. You remember it in this video right here. Well, I've got it fixed already, but it's not like what I thought it was, and mistakes were made. So anyway, it's fixed, everything is good, everything is as it should be. So if y'all want to find out what I'm talking about, let's get to it. Alright guys, you know the routine. Skid plate's got to come down. I'm not going to bore y'all taking a long time to do that. We're going to zip right through it. Just want enough to support it. Right there. Okay, you want this? Alright guys, we got the skid plate out, and now I'm going to cut the pipe right here. We got a new tailpipe coming from the muffler out the back. I'm not even going to try to save this one. This will give me plenty of room to work. I've got to release these grommets up here. There's one here and there's one further in the back. And then I want to try to loosen this U-bolt right here and see if I can get the muffler off the catalytic converter, and hope that it hasn't crushed itself together where I can't get it off. So that's what we're going to be doing now. When you come back, I will have this rear tailpipe out. I'm not going to waste y'all's time with that. You've seen that before. Well guys, it's the next day. A little bit harder to get this thing off than I had anticipated. I had to destroy the muffler getting it off, which I thought was the problem. It was not the problem. You can't get these mufflers anymore. This is a factory one, and it was still good. It didn't have a rattle one in it. What I heard rattling was the catalytic converter. This is all the honeycomb that I broke out of the catalytic converter. Man, I hate that, because that means I'm going to be putting the quiet flow muffler on Little Red here, and I know the quiet flow is not going to be as quiet as this one was. And now I've had to chip all my catalytic converter honeycomb out and get it out. But anyway, that's so discouraging. I couldn't get this off without cutting some things and peeling it back like a banana. So like on this end right here, I mean, I had to just butcher it all to pieces. And with my cutoff wheel, of course, I cut up into some places that's not meant to be cut, but I didn't care, because I thought this piece was bad. And I originally thought when we first got this Jeep that it was a catalytic converter. I got under there and I got to beating on the muffler and stuff, and I thought, you know, I believe it is a muffler. Well, it's nobody's fault but my own, but it's a catalytic converter. So anyway, I cut a factory perfect condition super quiet muffler off. It's just a big mistake. Anyway, I got the clamps to put the quiet flow back on. I've got my catalytic converter for right now pulled out to get rid of the rattle, so I know it's going to be louder than it was. If it's a little louder and don't have a lot of drone, I'll be happy. I think it being a 6-cylinder, I think it'll be okay. We'll find out. I'll let you know. All right, so I've got the quiet flow. You can see right here. I don't know if you can read that or not. It's upside down. On my catalytic converter, I got some exhaust clamps. I'm going to clamp it on up here, and then I got to get the tailpipe on the back. Okay, I've got the tailpipe on with the rear clamp on the muffler. I got the front of the muffler connected to the catalytic converter, so now I'm ready to go back on with the skid plate, and we'll give this thing a test fire and see what she sounds like. Alright guys, we're in Little Red. Got the skid plate, everything buttoned back up. Let's try it out and see what it sounds like. that is beautiful. A little bit deeper than before. Zero drone. When I accelerate at all, it just goes silent. So the 4-cylinder is just a louder running engine at the exhaust apparently than the 6-cylinder is. Let me back this thing out. Alright guys, I'm going through the gears and the exhaust sounds awesome. It's still quiet. I was afraid it wouldn't be. It is still quiet. When I cranked it in the garage, I knew right then that it wasn't going to be a problem. So anyway, I made a mistake by destroying the old muffler that wasn't worn out, but the mistake didn't change anything. The engine still sounds good at the exhaust. So that's a win. I got the catalytic converter rattle gone because I hauled it out. Probably put one of those on later just because we're supposed to have them on. I know that. So anyway, right now she sounds good until I can get one to put on. And I will not make a video of me doing that process because you've already seen me do it on JJ. Well guys, since I juiced up the AC system in Little Red here with the Freon on the other video where I was working on the air conditioner, it's been I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, and the compressor is starting to shut off more and more and more, and right now it's off more than it is on, which means I have a Freon leak. And I knew I did. I was told that I had a Freon leak when I got it, but it used to would last the entire summer, and now it's apparently gotten worse over this past winter. So I'm going to have to put something in the system so that I can detect the leak. I'm going to put a UV dye in the system, and let me get all my gauges hooked up and I'll show you all about that. So I'm going to only use 2 hoses this time. I'm going to use the low pressure side, and I'm going to use the hose that you fill it with, which is a yellow hose. I'm going to leave the high pressure side just cut all the way off, because what I'm using is this right here. It's a UV leak detector, and it has R134A refrigerant in it. It's just a little bit, so I know I'm not going to overfill the system. It's barely cutting on at all, and I hope this is enough for it to cause the system to cut on and run continuously. So anyway, I got to get this connected, and we will put it in and we'll see how it does. So I've got my hoses connected. It's time for me to get this hooked up. I'm going to bleed the system now, and how you do that is I'm going to put pressure on my hose by screwing the valve in. I feel it getting cold, and now I'm going to back this connector off just a little bit till I hear it spew. Alright, I heard it spewing. I let a little bit out. Let some more out because it twisted. That way you're not inducing air into your system. So now let me go crank the Jeep, and I'll put this can in. Alright, so I got my dye going in the system. You can see the compressor clutch is running better already, and I've opened this valve and opened this valve back here. So my system is open, and it's pulling the Freon out of the small can, and I hope it's enough, and I'm afraid it's not going to be because it's still cycling on and off. I'll come back when I get this done. Okay, the air compressor is running all the time now, which I had enough Freon in this little can to do that. And you can see up here on my pressure gauge, it's about 26 psi. If it's hardly any lower than that, the compressor will shut on and off. When it shuts off, you will see the needle climbing, and when it builds up enough pressure to trip the low pressure side of the switch, the compressor will start cycling again, and this needle will start compressing the Freon, and this pressure will go down, 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 down. If that makes sense. So I don't have my high pressure side hooked up, There's no need for that. I'm putting just a very little bit of Freon in. This can is now empty, so I'm going to shut this valve off first. Now I can unhook that from the system. And now I'm going to close this valve. Which means it's not trying to pull any more from the can now. So you can see the yellowish tinge to this right here. I got some on my gloves. You can't really see it, but right there's some. That's the dye, and you have to use a UV light to be able to find it, where it's leaking at, and I'll have to come up with one of those. My compressor is not staying on 100% of the time, but it's staying on most of the time, so that's enough for me to cycle this stuff through the system and find out where it's leaking at. Because if it starts shutting off more often, that means it's got less Freon in it. Well guys, that's going to be a wrap on this video. We got the muffler rattle fixed, not the way that I had intended, but it works, it's fine, nothing's wrong. And got some UV dye in the AC system, and so that'll be another video later trying to figure out exactly where this thing is leaking at, and if I might want to try to use some of the AC stop leak. I watched some videos on it, and it's like a seal conditioner. It's not like a stop leak you put in the radiator. This is all liquid, and it conditions your seals and make them where if it's a very small leak that it will stop the leak. So y'all let me know in the comments what you think about that. I've never used it before, and I would consider trying it and giving y'all some information on that. Y'all come back next time, we'll see what we got going in.
Yeah.